speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This extraordinary meeting is appropriately named. Members of the Council have not called for such a meeting in 15 years, but the crisis in Southwark's housing is so grave and the administration's response so poor that we have been left with no choice but to demand urgent action. The regulator of social housing has now confirmed what residents have known for years. The Labour Council is failing tenants. Southwark has been awarded a C3 grading, the second lowest possible rating, for serious failings in meeting even the most basic of housing standards. When the regulator announced its investigation, after we publicly called for Southwark to be prioritised under these new powers, we all knew that what they would find would not be good. But even expecting the worst, seeing the findings in black and white was still shocking. Half our 37,000 homes do not have a smoke alarm. That is 18,500 homes which also do not have an up-to-date electrical safety certificate. There are 11,000 homes and families in our borough that we as an authority are failing to even meet the most basic decent home standard. Nearly 2,000 homes are overdue fire safety remedial actions. And it comes as no surprise at all to learn the regulator shared our concerns about information sharing and transparency. We have seen it time and time again from this administration. Even after this report, even after years of complaints, leaseholders and tenants hitting brick wall after brick wall, just trying to get answers, just trying to understand why their homes are so unsafe, why repairs take so long, why service charges keep rising, but services get worse. Madam Mayor, and if you want to understand just how badly trust has been broken, then you only needed to attend the Southwark Tenants Conference, as we did last Saturday. It was a full room of 4,000 people most affected by this administration's failures. And yet, where were the councillors responsible for this mess? They were nowhere to be seen. Not even the strategic director could turn up to defend this failing administration. And the response from residents was fury. One tenant stood up and asked for a show of hands on who trusted this council. And what happened, Madam Mayor? A sea of hands went up, not in support, but in complete rejection. Not a handful, not a majority, a unanimous message, Madam Mayor, from tenants. They do not trust this administration. And one resident put it bluntly, Southwark needs to go through a huge culture change. And let's be clear, this isn't about austerity. Peter Apps, the award-winning journalist who's covered and exposed fire safety failures across the country, expressed his concern about Southwark. It is utterly damning anywhere, but especially in the borough, which lost 6 residents in the Lacanau House fire. I do not regard austerity as an excuse here. Southwark has been taking the rents from these homes into the ring-fenced housing revenue account. They should have been spending them on smoke alarms before whatever else they've been spent on. Southwark council tenants have paid their rents. The money was there, and yet somehow this council chose not to spend it on the most basic safety measures. And what makes it worse, the Labour leadership knew all along that things were this bad. They've stood up and said it. In 2018, Councillor Cryan told us that Southwark was above and beyond on fire safety. In 2020, the current council leader, Kieran Williams, claimed that Southwark was one of the best and most robust for fire safety. We now have the facts. So I ask you, where is that political accountability? Because the failures don't stop with fire safety. District heating breakdowns, major work disasters, housing ombudsman complaints piling up, tens of thousands of pounds in compensation paid out for poor service. And yet we have the same people responsible still in charge. That is why we are moving the motion tonight, because it cannot be right that those who have repeatedly overseen housing failures of this magnitude over years, across multiple scandals, across multiple departments, are still serving in positions to get us out of this mess. And yet there will be people opposite, members in this chamber, who will vote for more complacency. There are members who will support the amendment to water down this motion, to delay real change. Let me tell you this, you would be gaslighting your residents.
2 seconds remaining.
Because if you believe, like we do, that Southwark deserves better, that our tenants deserve better, then stand with the Liberal Democrats tonight. Time for apologies is over. The time for excuses is over. Enough is enough. I move the motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.